Hello, my name's Hemingway Jones. Welcome to the channel. Today, I am absolutely delighted to be joined by Raymond Yu, the CEO of Ferris Press. We're going to cover a bunch of different topics, including some recent controversies, which are always fun. We're going to learn about his inspirations and what gets him up in the morning and which fountain pens he likes, and a whole bunch of other things. So please join me in welcome Raymond Yu.
Hi, Tim. It's a pleasure to be on the show, my first ever podcast.
Wow, good for you. I'm honored that you chose my humble show for your first podcast. So thanks so much.
You're super fun to talk to, so it was an easy choice.
Thank you. And we've been conversing through mostly WhatsApp, and we did have a previous Zoom call, which is always nice, kind of get to know each other a little bit before we sit down and have a nice discussion. I also want to say to everyone, just in full disclosure, that I used to be an ambassador for Ferris Press, but they had too many rules, so I had to leave. We'll talk about that.
We're going to work on that.
Okay. But, I just want to make sure that I let everyone know. But, Ferris Press is one of those truly unique corners of the fountain pen community. I was just on there over the weekend on your website, and I went through almost every product I could click on just to see what you were up to. So we have a lot to talk about, Mm-hmm. And I was amazed at how much you've changed since the last time I've really had done a deep dive on your products, and some of the really interesting and exciting things that you have going on, including the Lord of the Rings inks, which really got my attention, and the Harry Potter stuff with those beautiful caps.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe we'll just start with some of that, some of what's going on recently.
Okay. Well, recently, as you can see, just a little bit of more about, kind of where my vision is for our company is.
Sure.
I've always seen us as a gateway brand to fountain pens. I've never been one of those that kind of grew up with pens. I just fell into it, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And, the question for me was always, how do I get more people into this?
Oh.
And that's always been my mission of having people that like stationery products more into fountain pens. Because I've written all my entire life. I journal all the time. But I was like, how did I not know about pens for so many years? And all my university notes were in. I wrote them out. I never typed my notes. So, that became kind of the inspiration. At that time, I was also helping my wife's business. We actually have a letterpress printing business. That's how we started.
So it's ago. Literal. So the Ferris Press is nearly literal.
Is literally the printing press.
Wow.
That's where it came from. And
that's fantastic.
The Ferris wheels where I asked my wife out on the first date.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
There's a story behind all of it. But yeah, back to, kind of where we are today is the inspiration really is to, just trying to figure out how do I get more people excited about this really cool hobby.
And I love that because that's kind of the drive of my channel. So I do a lot of things that some people are like, how do you come up with this idea, like the 5 best fountain pens for introverts or whatnot? Mm-hmm. And it's a way of inviting more people in and letting more people know that they're comfortable here, that it's a good, friendly hobby.
Yep. And, it's kind of that question I pondered for a while. And, it came up to me. It was actually as a family dinner over Christmas 2 Christmases ago. And, at this time, Ferris wheel's been around for probably 5-6 years.
Sure.
And my little nephew was like, hey, Uncle Ray, what do you guys do? And I'm like, I make pens and inks and fountain pens. He's like, what's a fountain pen? And, then my cousins chimed in. They're like, yeah, what is a fountain pen? I'm like, man, how do you guys not know what this is? Right? It's crazy.
Sure.
And then, we kind of, there was a Pokemon ballpoint pen on his desk.
Okay.
And I was like, maybe I need to approach this differently. Maybe I need to, not try to teach them what a fountain pen is, but maybe approach it from a story they're familiar with and build products that invite them into fountain pens. Because, I think there's different approaches to it. And so that's kind of the genesis of us really starting to think about working with other brands and stories to
like licensing, like the different companies.
Licensing.
Yeah. And if I may, one of the things I noticed that you do, and I'll contrast a little bit, like Retro 51 does some licensing where they'll put a nice, beautiful, repetitive pattern on one of their pens, something like that. Very nice. I notice your angle is a little bit more immersive. I'm speaking very specifically with the Harry Potter stuff. That ink bottle is something that would sit on one of the characters' desks or whatnot. So you feel very much like you're interacting with that intellectual property.
100%. So our approach has always been, which universe would naturally have fountain pens and inks, right? Where would it feel natural to have these?
Oh, sure.
So that's, again, something more mythical, fantasy driven, something with really strong iconography or artifacts. Those storylines tend to play well because a fountain pen is like an artifact, right? It's a beautiful piece that, so some people might look at it and say, oh, cool, that looks like a really cool collectible. So we played off a lot of these storylines. And so our primary licenses that we went after naturally would kind of extend into include something like this. You could see someone using a fountain pen in Harry Potter or, Lord of the Rings, right? It's kind of makes sense for the time period. Yeah.
Sure. Because it's sort of a collective romantic thing to write with a fountain pen. It's a little anachronistic, but it's so ingrained into our lives that we don't necessarily see the fascination that people that are not into this hobby have with it,
Yeah, I still maintain a little bit of that newbie. I stand at the doorway, trying to invite people in because you always have to remind yourself. It's like I use fountain pens every day now, but a lot of people don't, and you just always have to keep that in mind when you're trying to invite people in. You have to demystify things. You have to make them comfortable, and in some cases, we're trying to make people more comfortable through stories that they're familiar with, right? A lot of people will try a Lord of the Rings anything.
Yes. Yep. Right? Some collectors will collect everything within a genre.
So why not use a fountain pen to practice your elven calligraphy, right? And
sure. Yeah, Tolkien did.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. That's pretty great. So you had mentioned that back in university you used pens, but they were probably roller balls or something in those days, right?
Oh, of course. It's your collection of whatever is available for free at the Student Life Center.
Yeah, exactly.
Mix of highlighters. Although, you asked me this question, I thought about it. When I graduated, I received a gift, a Mont Blanc pen, and that was my first real pen from my new boss. So after school I got hired, and he gifted me this pen as a kind of welcome gift, and it was my first real pen, which I use with pride every day. I made sure everyone could see the snowflake.
Sure.
And even though for me I was like, yeah, I'm as a 21-year-old new grad, I wanted people to know how professional I was, I guess. It's a
signifier. Sure. We all did that when we were young, I was guilty of that too.
It was very cool. And I remember I used that pen every day, and until the point where it actually broke on me.
Oh, no. What kind was it? Was it a fountain pen or a?
It was, at first I had actually, do I still have it? Yeah, it's this one. It's right here.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
It's still on my desk.
Starwalker, right?
Yeah, it was a Starwalker, and so the funny thing about it was the cap, the resin cracked. I can't really see it.
Oh, okay.
But I guess I over tightened it, and it just exploded. And I was trying to get it fixed. And then they wouldn't do it. It would have cost, I think, somewhere around $200 to get it repaired. And I was like, so sad. Then I just used some crazy glue to hack it back together. But you can never really. It's not the same.
It's a daily writer. Why not? It's got a little bit of patina.
It's got a big hole in it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It tells a story at least. But that's definitely, one of those pens I got started with, and then I started, buying a couple here and there, and just trying to I was like, oh, these are fancy. They make you feel different. They make me like writing even more.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that, because obviously you have to slow down a bit. You have to orient yourself to a fountain pen. You can't just write whatever direction it's in when you uncap it. In many cases, outside of your own brand, what's your favorite fountain pen?
Outside of I'm very, I've tried many, let's put it this way.
Okay.
I've tried pretty much every pen out there. And, so again, part of it is for research, is just to make sure that we can make some incredible products. Part of it was, it's a hobby I enjoy.
Sure.
And, after all of that, I can still say the pen I go back to it's called a Parker Sonnet.
Oh, sure.
And it's a very small pen. I picked that up in Fountain Pen Hospital.
Okay.
Beautiful. It had this white pearl lacquer finish, and it was a rose gold nib. It's a 14K nib. And I just loved it. I mean, it was one of those where I prefer a smaller pen, and it was just the right heft.
Yeah, that's not what I would have chosen for you. It's interesting, like I love it. I love that pen that you like that, but I would have thought of you as like a Lamy Safari or a Lamy 2000 guy, like creative, edgy on the design.
Funny enough, like I've actually I've been gifted many Lamys. I do. Sure. I have a couple on my desk right now. I don't prefer the pen, to be honest. It's I think the pen is very practical. But for me, I just like things that have a bit more feeling to them.
Ooh, yeah,
I feel like this is very utilitarian. It's great.
Definitely.
It always works. But I like pens that are a little quirky and
a little bit more romance, right?
I do. Because although I do write quite a bit, I also like to. I don't need something that I can write 20 pages with, right? Like we're, a couple of pages. I just want to make sure that the pen, when I look at it, it's like, I feel like I need to pick it up. And that's one of those important things for me that drives our design philosophy. I was like, the pen on the desk, and same with the ink, it should do something where you just have to pick it up and play with it, right?
Gotcha.
So beautiful. Sure. And no matter what it was, I always wanted to have something that just drew me to it. And so, the sonnet is different. I just, something about the sonnet was, it was very refined. And
yes. Yeah. And it has that vintage elegance to it.
Absolutely. And the lines are clean. It's subtle, but it had the right detail. The finish and the paint on it had that, what do we call here? Like it is like a piano. It's like a very, has a lot of depth in the lacquer.
Ooh,
so you can see layers in the paint. And that's something that I really always appreciated. Actually part of the inspiration to our whole jewel and bijou collection was, creating lacquer paint that had depth. Kind of reminds you of looking at the side of a piano or a very freshly waxed car.
Oh,
it has that wet look. And
very nice.
Yeah, and that's always something I've just loved, the look and feel of it, because it's just the way it plays with the light. And I have a couple of watches that have similar dials that, if they have the lacquer right and the paint right, it just creates so much depth. And it's always interesting.
I love depth. I love trompe l'oeil too, when it appears to have depth, but it's not something that's deep. And you can do that with many resins, and I like that effect. I mean, I love your art direction. Everything is so pretty and so romantic, and even the copy, what you guys write with the product descriptions is really romantic and beautiful. I've had some challenges, like the flat bottle with the nut on top is very wonky for me. I'm always in fear of my life when I fill from it. But it's a beautiful, beautiful bottle to behold.
Yeah, I think, that's always been one of those controversies for us, is form over function or function over form. And look, I think when we started, there was a little bit of intentional focus on that, that beauty on the desk. Like,
Sure.
the inspiration for me was perfume bottles and ornate Fabergé eggs. Like, we haven't even done the craziest idea I have. Like, we're still working on it, but it's going to be more closer to a Fabergé egg than it is,
I
a
love
very
that.
utilitarian bottle. Like, I like to have fun with it. Again, make fancy fun is our passion. It's our motto. It's our vision.
Sure.
And if we're not making fancy fun, then what are we doing here, right? Like,
it definitely differentiates you, and I think you have a color for anyone, from the lightest shades, which are almost inks you would rather paint with, to the more dark, even business-like tones that I've seen. Quite a bit of shimmer in most of what you do, right? I noticed.
Yeah.
I really love the Mordor ink. The look of that looks like it has a nice sheen, and it's got a little sprinkle of gold in there. And that bottle seems to be a little bit. It seems very stable, and it has that beautiful cap.
We are working. Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, not to jump around too much, but there's certainly intentional thought being put into something a little bit more practical. But because I think we can do both. We can do practical, but still outstanding and beautiful.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
And so, again, doing a mold and the refinement, it's about an 18-month process to get all the sampling done. But for sure, I understand the feedback. And, we're always in a, kind of a design, like, put it this way. I think there's a lot of amazing companies out there that do very great work making very functional products. We just talked about Ben and Gravitas and all the incumbents. Ben. Yeah, they're amazing at just making things that solve problems, right?
Sure.
And for me, it's more about, I see the problem being one of inspiration and excitement. And I see fountain pens growing. That's one of the problems I want to solve, is get people excited. Like, no, it's not going to be the most practical or technically, perfect, but it'll be great. It'll be fantastic, and you'll be excited to use it. You'll be excited to pick it up and play with it. And that's really kind of our goal here, is to have that initial, if someone will walk through a store and look at it and say, oh, cool, I want to pick it up, versus, walk by it. I think we've done our job.
Yeah. And they do show up in different places. One thing interesting about your company is that you don't always just encounter them in stationery stores. I've seen them in gift shops. I've seen them in museum gift shops. I've seen them, like the Boston General Store, which kind of has some stationery, and there it is. It's just one of those brands that takes me by surprise where I encounter it.
Yeah, we've been in Harrods before. We've been at Holt Renfrew, which is, I guess, the Canadian version of like Bloomingdale's. We've actually been in Bloomingdale's too. Again, for more holiday pop-ups, and again, it's again trying to be in that lifestyle space where we can encounter more people that are, we could pull into our universe, right? Pull into the fountain pen universe. Great. And so I always think about that. And again, same thing with the licenses, right? I want to use that as a vehicle to get people, hey, if you're going to be gifting someone, a figurine for their desk, why not think about a fountain pen and ink set? At least you can use it once in a while if you open the box. But
yeah, absolutely. It's a beautiful gift. And it's very romantic. I've used that term a lot. And I mean, in the truest sense, it's like, do you know the J. Peterman catalog? Have you ever seen that?
Not well.
Okay, so he sells clothes, and it's been parodied on Seinfeld, and it's not just a jacket. There's a whole story about a guy in Saint-Tropez who is, doing this and that, and if you'll have a sense of that if you have the jacket, and it makes it a little bit more fun, and it certainly gives a certain context to things, and I think Ferris Press does that really well.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's sure. we at least we have fun with it. Let's just put it that way.
Sure. Yeah. And you say it takes about 18 months to bring something to market, and I know it might be a good time to talk about it, because one of the things that had me reach out to you was this recent controversy about a pen design, and you know, I saw it on a forum, and I was reading along, and I was like, I wonder what's going on there. And I think it's always great to kind of get the take of the guy who's at the center of it, and kind of get it on the record from your perspective exactly, you know, what happened and how it went.
Well, I was going to pull it up, but so essentially the short version, this is not a new controversy. This was something that came up probably, I think, for the first time about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Actually, no, it was pre-COVID. COVID was already 3 years ago. But at that point in time,
5 years ago, right?
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, like when we first started, about 2 to 3 years into our journey, so originally, our pens were made in China, and so over our first 2 years or so, again, just kind of getting to know the industry and getting to know manufacturing in general, and then one of these days, I believe one of our staff was like, "Hey, I think that we saw a post of someone selling our pens, but using their logo." I was like, "What the heck?" Anyway, so we kind of figured out there's a company that was just ripping off our pen designs. And then, we did what we could to try to shut them down. Obviously, they didn't pay attention, and we're like, you know what? It's not even worth it. They're not going to pay attention. So we just kind of ignored it. But then, I think a little bit down the road, there were people saying that we actually took their design and white labeled the product. And I was just like, come on, that's like crazy. So we went in again, tried to do what we can online. At that point, I was still like, do we go out there and really fight these people on the internet? No, let's just put a post out there and kind of put it to bed as quickly as we can. I didn't see the need to go out there and try to fight with people online in the comment section.
Sure.
Yeah, I just felt
that can always be dangerous. Even my comment section sometimes can be contentious. It's fountain pens. It should be gentle.
Yeah, I think so. And I of course, I agree with you. And, something that kind of settled. But after a few more years, recently, again, in about a month ago, it surfaced again. And I just felt like, I think it's important for me to stand out because we are, again, now we're working with larger companies and Warner Brothers. And I didn't want to have any questions about our integrity. So,
sure.
No, so I put out, evidence basically just showing our design process, our patents that we filed. Like, obviously we came up with the design and let's be very honest here. It's a simple design, right? The form factor was inspired by the Sonnet. It was a little small compact pen. The nut was inspired literally by our letterpress, right? Which is a ton of nuts and bolts to get working. And that's it. And the silhouette's like a paintbrush, right?
Sure.
Very simple story. And, I think that hopefully that will, just, again, give people the confidence about, where this whole controversy came up from. And the person that put up the post took it down very quickly. And so I felt like it was just good for me to put it out there and
sure,
let people see the truth.
Sure. And to paraphrase, it seems like you had this manufacturing agreement with a factory in China, and they were, not that you have proof of this, but probably most likely kind of reallocating it also elsewhere.
Oh, sorry, say that again?
So they were probably also making it for like another company, or they had shared the design or something along.
Oh, 100%. It's just how the industry works is if you go to a trade show or any trade show, the manufacturers, they need to show samples, right?
Sure.
So they'll show my sample and someone will say, oh, cool, that's a nice pen. I want to make that one. A good manufacturer will say, no, you can't do that. A bad manufacturer will say, yeah, no problem. Let me slap your logo on it. And then it's the Wild West, right? So we no longer make our pens in China. We make them in Taiwan now, which, again, a little bit more, I think culturally, they respect IP a little bit more.
Sure.
And so that's helped a lot. But at the same time too, like it's not something you can fully prevent.
You're not the only one. I've heard other pen companies having similar issues.
Yeah. But you do your thing. Like we're a design company, so I told my team like the only way to really fight this long term is just to keep leading and innovating and designing, right? Like they're always going to follow us, so it is what it is.
Oh yes, absolutely. So the creative process in your office is a lot of drawing and creating different versions that then go toward the final version when you have an idea.
The creative process is so there's a backstory that'll help give some context. So again, remembering that we started off as a letterpress printing company. And so for the first 10 years of our existence, our core business and our core every day was we designed letterpressed invitations and stationery for people getting married.
Oh,
So
nice.
it was tricky. I'll just say that the wedding industry is a tough one, but what it required for us to really be good at was we were great at storytelling and we were great at illustration because everyone wanted their invitations to be different. And we were fantastic at print. Like we knew everything about print because we did it in house. We did it every day. And so those things, and again, by extension, paper. And so after 10 years of working with paper and telling story through paper, like you get pretty good at it. You know where to put foil to make something stand out, to make it look 3D. You know where to shade and how printing works, what type of printing on what type of paper looks good versus doesn't. You know how things photograph, right? Because we were always trying to get our products into wedding magazines to promote our brand. And so, you put all those skills together and create processes over 10 years. You get, into situations where it's kind of funny because the first time we were accused of using, AI or generative imaging, I was like, we had a party in the house, like in our team, because guys, we're so good. People think we're a computer.
Oh, that's funny.
But it's just creative uses of lighting and knowing how to produce things at a very high level, at a very finesse level. And we continue to do that. And so a lot of it
seems to be an insult now that it's AI. That seems to be something that it just gets thrown around. I had one of my shorts that somebody said that I was using AI, and it's like, I had it on cinematic on my phone. They're like, using AI. I'm like, I wouldn't use this face if I was using AI. I'd be like 20 years younger.
I know it's everything evolves. So we certainly, it's funny. Our last conversation with the team was, maybe we should show it less polished and, little bit more rough. But again, our process hasn't changed. We still,
photography is great.
Yeah, like we do it all in house. Everything is hand illustrated. Our team's right behind me doing their thing, and again, it's what we love. Like what we would never outsource it because this is what we actually enjoy.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, that's the passion of your company. It's the drive, and there is a kind of unified aesthetic to it.
Yes,
it's clearly made from the same design team.
Absolutely,
which is pretty exciting. I was teasing you a little bit up front and saying how when I was an ambassador and I left because at the time the rules were everything had to be Ferris wheel press, and I'm more chaotic than that. I wanted to put different inks in, and use a different pen, a Mont Blanc pen with some Ferris wheel press ink, and whoever was running the program didn't like that too much. So, but to your credit, and it did produce very beautiful videos where everything was so aesthetic, to a level of being aesthetic that I can only aspire toward. It's really lovely.
I think if, when we were chatting, it's easy to be genuine and authentic. Like, my history, I'm a physiotherapist by training. And so, I'm kind of learning this as I go as well, right? So sometimes you think, hey, this is a great idea. Maybe we should say it should all be uniform and Ferris wheel product. And sometimes it turns out to be a horrible idea. And, I can admit like some ideas weren't that good. And again, I love the feedback and I'm happy to evolve and just kind of change with the times, right? So, these days for us too, even the work that's being created with our ambassadors, I was like, we should have more variety. And honestly, like someone like me I can't relate because my handwriting's like chicken scratch. And I was like, hey guys, why don't we get some people with really ugly handwriting for our ambassador?
I would qualify for that. Yeah,
But,
it is a struggle for a lot of us.
But it's, there's no right or wrong answer. I think we just, again, we try to experiment and see what works. And, there's really no offense taken. Like we just try our best to test things out and, go from there. That's really the mantra of our team: learn new things. Yeah. And
you are doing great things. Like, you're different. And I like to celebrate that because there is a lot of uniformity out there in general. Not to cast any dispersions towards any other brands, but when you see something that's so aesthetic and so refined and beautiful, it's really sort of beguiling. It's like a whole world. I'm sure you must have fans of Ferris Prep.
I'm grateful to say yes. And, I think it also kind of starts with us. Like, we're just fans of our own work. And, and I think it really starts there. Is a lot of us are kind of, I guess we were, from different versions of being in love with stationery and writing and literature. For me and my wife, we appreciate more kind of the old traditional British. Like we go to the UK all the time just to get inspiration, because there's a certain level of refinement and finesse there, and we love it.
Absolutely.
And our team, there's members that are more into like the kind of Asian, Japanese, calligraphic style. So we try to incorporate different feelings of that, but overall, again, it's just trying to incorporate that finesse to it. And I think we've done that well over the years. We always try to, even though if we're telling a silly story with like a beaver being a philanthropist or something,
sure.
He's still a fancy beaver. He'll have a monocle. He'll have the right pocket square and properly buttoned up suit. And I think it just goes back to that fun we like to have with our storytelling. We don't take it super seriously, and I think that's also why I think we are excited to do more of the licensed products.
Sure.
There's some elements of that creative freedom that we think we could do well with.
Any thought to doing more paper? Like you don't have a lot of paper. Like letter writing sets are such a struggle to find. Because I have a pen pal group on my channel, and I write a lot of letters, and everyone always asks, like, where do you find letter writing sets? And it's tough.
Paper is tricky, even in Canada, where there's apparently an abundance of softwood lumber.
Sure.
The pandemic has made it super cost prohibitive, and that's just a reality. Like I have probably still several skids of notebooks that we they're heavy to ship. They're very expensive to distribute, and I think that's challenging. And again, there are some people that are willing to pay for premium paper, and then there's everyone else that will buy one from Walmart for $20, and they're great. They're good too. But it's just getting harder and harder. Like, and again, this is coming from someone I've spent my entire life in paper. Like before this, we were in letterpress, and I knew every mill, every manufacturer in Canada. And, gradually a lot of them shut down, their lines condensed. A lot of them got outsourced to overseas. So it became harder and harder to be in the paper business. But I don't know, like, we'll see. Like, it's always something that we thought about. We actually had our own paper in development because I don't know. I'm sure you've heard of the brand Smythson from the UK, obviously.
Yeah, no, I actually have it.
Oh, really?
But I'll look it up right after we get off the air.
Yeah, Smythson is a very prestigious UK stationery brand, and they had this beautiful collection of their own paper. And so again, that's watermarked with their name on it, but they managed to create a paper that was excellent for fountain pen writing. Again,
Oh, nice.
kind of like Tomo River, but it was made in the UK.
Oh, very
And
nice.
yeah, we took inspiration from there, and we're like, oh, well, maybe we should do something like that and try, because they somehow got it to be super thin, but it didn't bleed or feather, it didn't ghost, and it's actually a brand that was has a royal warrant from the family, from the Queen,
Oh, wow.
and she
Well,
used that
not
brand as
anymore.
stationery.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'm a little bit behind on that. I don't know if King Charles writes any letters, but
He uses
but yeah,
a fountain pen. Not very well, though, the poor guy.
tried to. Yeah,
Yeah, he tries to.
he tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, even that, I think when we kind of looked into it, their mill was, I believe it was on the verge of shutting down, and so it was just
that's a
like
shame.
it was so hard to find this, good quality paper mills anymore. But that's something that's, maybe down the road we do a co-op or a nonprofit, and and start a new paper business.
Right. That would be exciting.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you journal. I'm sure people would love to hear how you use your pens.
Well, I always have at least 6 pens. They're always different color. Part of it is just because I'm always testing something.
Oh, what, do you match the color to the pen, like green ink?
I try to, otherwise I can't remember them.
Exactly.
But I like to color code things, and I've had a system of organizing my day for the past, I'd say, 15 years now.
Okay, nice.
So every day, every week starts the same. I have my I'll start Sunday nights is a journal. So I kind of do a brain dump of the week. I write down goals, I write down some challenges, and then write down some intentions. So I map that out. I am Christian, so I have a little prayer section of things that I feel compelled to meditate and pray about, and then I'll plan out my week. So I'll have my list of kind of weekly deliverables, and every day I have daily priorities. We have a section, so it's gratitude, monthly goals, priorities, bottlenecks, and victories.
Oh, nice.
And so every day has been the same for 10, 15 years now. I can't remember these books all back here were just from the last 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So you just keep filling it up, and one day it'll tell a story of how this all came about.
Yeah, it's like the corporate memory.
Yeah, if you can read it.
Right. No, that's great. And then at work, do you have to sign anything at work, or is it just kind of you using your own journaling system?
Unfortunately, most of my signing happens with our ballpoint pen, and
Okay, sure.
yeah. Although we do have spoiler alert, we do have a permanent ink coming up. Probably next year we're releasing. Yeah.
Nice.
So then I can
Hemingway
finally sign
Jones exclusive.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, right. No, I'm just saying that you announced it here. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no, it's always fun. That sounds great. Permanent inks are great. I use those to when I draw. I'm going to try to make some stickers for my channel. I have to draw them. I'll probably I'll have to record myself drawing them, or people will say hi.
Oh, the world we live in, right? Oh,
Yeah, exactly. But
I'm lucky that none of my drawings will ever be accused of being computer generated.
I was just thinking the same thing, so maybe not.
Yeah.
It's good though, but it is exciting, everything you're doing, and I really appreciate you spending some time with me and getting the word out there. And I think it was really great to kind of work on this with you and kind of talk and hear what's going on. And I'm always excited for new things, so it's really great to see the licensing, the beautiful bottles that are much more stable. I'm very happy. So you guys are doing great things.
The existing ones are okay too. I'm sure you have the the dexterity to manage the bottle.
I do have them. I just complain about them. It's just when I use a lever fill, I'm like terrified because I need 2 hands up here instead of 1 down there.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point. I never thought about it. We don't have any lever fill pens, so it never crossed my mind. I am learning from a lot of the, as much as I, selectively look at the comment section. There are good points I take out of it. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, lever fill, piston fills. Yeah, those need 2 hands. And it wouldn't be as convenient for sure.
But the thing is, you can't please everyone 100%. And someone like me, if I don't have a criticism, it's not a very interesting video. So it's like there's always going to be something that I'm like, I don't really like this, but I love that.
Right.
I try to be balanced and fair and honest and polite, so that we all can, enrich this community and move fountain pens forward.
For sure. Actually, that's why I'm excited too, because I want to get a couple of our new, prototypes in your hands and let you rip us apart a little bit.
Very constructively. Very constructively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
be delighted. I would be delighted and honored. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for this. And, I'm looking forward to speaking with you again.
Yeah, it was super fun, just like our regular chats.
Right.
I'm happy to be back anytime you'll welcome me. So
you're always welcome, my friend. Okay, thanks so much. And thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. If you've reached this point in the video, please subscribe. From the fountain pen, we can go anywhere. And Raymond Yu shows us some new directions to go in. So I make new videos all the time, and I have a live show each week as well. So I can promise you, we'll see each other again very soon, further up the road. So take care.